me and my brother here haven't done a video in a long time together, and he's a little out of the loop, but basically I've come onto this theory recently, doing a lot of borderline Metallica propaganda on the channel. Me and James mostly have been, and we do believe in actually the stuff we're saying, that Dave Mustaine of Megadeth tends to be kind of out of his mind and a little bit of a liar. You know, he obviously was involved in the early days of Metallica, but my God, some of the comments we have gotten on some of these, we're going to read mostly comments on one of the video shorts in particular, the one where James kind of dispels that, like, Dave Mustaine really tries to take credit for way more that Metallica does than he actually did. You know, he'll say, like, recently he did an interview where he said some crazy thing like that Metallica, like, I'm the reason for a lot of their success, or like I made that band, and like just ridiculous stuff. And for years, you know, we'd heard stories of Dave Mustaine, like they stole my music, but now it's starting to get a little nutty. And so even the fan base, they're actually saying crazier things than even Dave says. And so Jake is going to essentially read off a lot of these funny comments we have here. Some of them are normal, but you're going to be laughing your ass off about how unhinged some of these are. So there's going to be some normal ones. Basically, just whatever ones kind of strike your interest is funny ones here.
Okay, the first one up is, Dave is my favorite member of Metallica.
Which I mean, that's pretty much a hot take. I think we could both agree on that, but whatever. I mean, he is the guy that made Megadeth, but at that rate, it's sort of like, why wouldn't you just say Megadeth's better, you know? Like, what's kind of the point of that?
Listening to Mustaine's last few albums sound more true to the original sound Metallica, which makes me believe that he was the architect of that style of music.
Which, that seems a little... that's a little weird, and it's like that person hasn't heard any new Metallica either, because they sort of sound like they used to anyways nowadays. It's like, I guess both are thrashy now, so I don't get the point of that one.
Not sure this is referring to. Guys, it's getting old. There's enough love for the both of you, so enjoy life. You both made it to the top.
And that's the way to look at it, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
He has a right to be pissed at them.
And then there's a lot of these that are like that too, where people, because we'll make like actual arguments here, like here's the evidence, right? And they'll just say, you're an asshole, and that's it, you know? And those are the funniest comments to me. But
there's a couple that say like Metal Militia is their favorite, or one of their favorite songs.
You can skip over some of those, because James had basically, in passing, he made a point about Dave's contributions to Metallica are very minimal, and almost none are very important songs to him. I think the most important song Dave has any involvement with is the song Ride the Lightning, which we both love that song. But it's not exactly like, even in the early days, it's not Fade to Black or like something groundbreaking from them. And he said the point of, you know, whose favorite song is Metal Militia? And of course, there's like 20 people that are like, Metal Militia is my favorite song, idiot. But that's not the point, but whatever.
He helped, all caps, you know, that there's emphasis. He helped write some songs. I love how he always tries to take credit for stuff that was a team effort.
Yeah, and that's pretty much bolstering what we're saying there, you know.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood that. Oh, this one's a bit of an essay. Dave was teaching James how to be a frontman, ellipses. Dave was the leader. Hetfield was timid for sure. Dave stepped the gas on the bottle. What? Ammed said faster, louder, more. None of those have spaces after the commas, by the way. nor period. Headbanging, another no space. More attitude, ellipses. That's the way to the top. And he was right. They did use a good chunk of his music. He asked him, period, no space, not to, period, then there's a space. It's not like it was a riff. And Dave or fans have just gone on to say, quote, a whole album. There's a period between whole and album.
I'm very confused by this comment already.
It's like some as in like S-U-M, or something like Obviously it's that. It's typo. But the clip of Dave from period, this video, comma, no space, is from years ago already, as time is flying fast, and no period.
Well, we got a regular fucking Shakespeare here. Did that make any sense to you at all? Like, what was he trying to say with that one?
I think it was focusing too much on the weird, like, inconsistent grammar.
Yeah, I couldn't blame you. You can just move on to the next one.
I guess he's just glazing Dave and saying that, like, Dave is like the genius behind everything.
I will say one thing I noticed that he is kind of right on is if you watch early recordings of them with Dave, James is very timid. But hell, even without Dave, James was still super timid. It was still a good front man. It was more so like he came into his own no matter what. Like even when, if you look up clips of them early with Kirk, he was still super timid and he had to kind of get over that. I don't think Dave had that much of an impact.
The arpeggiated section of Call of Cthulhu is the exact same pattern Dave plays on Hangar 18.
Which that is true. He does co-write, and that's what he's credit. See, the thing is, a lot of people will say that things like, well, he didn't get credited for stuff because Dave will say that. But no, he is. If you actually bother to look at the writing credits, like he is credited for Ride the Lightning partially, and same with Call of Cthulhu. So, and if you listen to that, it is the same kind of chord sequence as used at the beginning of Hangar 18.
Dave is better than them all, just not humble as he should be. Haha. Dave kicked all their asses.
And that's partially true. I mean, no matter what, Dave is a badass, and I think he's funny even when he's crazy.
Without Dave, Metallica is nothing.
Well, and once again, that's the ultimate point: is why? How is that the case? You know.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Then Mustaine created Metallica.
Well, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of sarcastic ones on here of like people saying like Dave wrote the Declaration of Independence and the fucking Magna Carta, and you know what else did he write, Jake? The Book of the Dead, you know. What other things did he write? You know, the Dead Sea Scrolls.
And Mustaine didn't pay Ellefson royalties for some of his work, straight from Ellefson's mouth.
Well, yeah, no, if we're going to believe just whatever claims people make about stealing music, David Ellefson claims that Dave didn't credit him for stuff. But, you know, and ultimately, isn't that kind of hypocritical that Dave will cry and complain all day about being kicked out of Metallica, even though he was an uncontrollable drunk? How many people have been fired from Megadeth? All of them, or quit, right? At this rate, it's like, what a hypocritical thing to say.
Let's hear what all those songs sounded like before Dave's fingerprints. By the way, there's no apostrophe, you know, to make it possessive.
I guess just do your best to transcribe this caveman speak, you know.
Hate on Mustaine all you want. Oh, I thought it was going to be a paragraph or essay. Hate on Mustaine all you want. He's my favorite metal guitarist, and Megadeth is my favorite thrash band. Dude has written top-notch albums for decades, not just part of one decade like Metallica.
Well, and that's, you know what's interesting is people, I notice, will say ridiculous things like, Metallica sold out, therefore Megadeth is better. Are we, like, just going to completely forget about all the 90s Megadeth stuff? Like, and I like 90s Metallica, I like 90s Megadeth, but they weren't exactly playing speed and thrash metal throughout the 90s. Like, you know, like, what were the songs off Countdown? God, I can't remember song titles off the top of my head, but like...
Sweating Bullets?
Yeah, like Sweating Bullets, or like, you know, like...
Symphony of Destruction?
Even Toot Le Monde. Like, it's not exactly speed and thrash metal coming out of his ass, you know?
All right. Listen to the first album. It sounds like a Megadeth songs. He wrote majority of the riffs. Not the majority. Jump on the Fire was a big song.
Jump on the fire? It's jump in the fire. It's like jumping on a bonfire. Yeah, it's like that.
It's like Mario.
It's like that Pantera album cover, Reinventing the Steel, where it's the naked dude jumping through a bonfire. No, that's just. I mean, what is your evidence of that? You're just saying it sounds like Megadeth to your ears because it's heavy. Like,
do you want to hear stuff that's like obviously like jokes?
Well, no, we don't have to
Okay.
mess up though. You mean like the people sarcastically?
Yeah,
being
yeah,
like
yeah,
he
yeah,
wrote the fucking Magna Carta now.
I am convinced that he wrote more of, quote, Write the Lightning song. That the riff that comes in after the second chorus is the most Megadeth sounding riff I have ever heard. The same goes for Leper Messiah. The verse riff is definitely his.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Dave, so with Ride the Lightning, I think maybe so we're going off the comments of James's video, our friend James, and I think he had mistakenly said Dave only wrote the verse riff of Ride the Lightning, but the one Dave claims credit for is, do you remember that riff in Ride the Lightning right before the solo where it's like, that's like a very,
yeah.
that like weird descending sound. That's very Megadeth. And yeah, he wrote that for sure. And then Leper Messiah was the other one he was talking about. But Dave doesn't claim that he wrote the verse riff of Leper Messiah and then didn't get credit for it. He claims that he wrote the middle section riff where it gets faster. But if you listen to Dave's demo that he claims they stole from him, it sounds like rhythmically similar, like the timing of the guitar playing, but the notes are completely different. And at that point, it's like a different song to me.
This is in all caps. Every single letter.
This is going to be a good one.
This one is in all caps. Dave Mustaine was the best guitarist Metallica had. They F up by firing him. That's why Megadeth was better than Metallica. And Megadeth never sold out or changed like Metallica did. God bless Dave. Prayer emoji heart, and 2 heart emojis.
Well, and that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, yeah, and here's the thing. I don't actually think Metallica sold out because they never tried to do what they thought would get them dollars. They always just kind of did whatever they wanted to do if you're to believe them, right? Dave Mustaine has on video admitted, like in the behind the music for Megadeth, he literally said like, yeah, no, like risk was a big risk. We're either going to get a lot of money for this or not. Like, isn't that literally selling out at that point? Right? Like if you're saying we're deliberately trying to get a big hit, like he was working with Foreigner's producer or manager or something like that to influence his songwriting so that he could make, he literally said they made Foreigner a pop sensation. Maybe they can help us. Is that not selling out?
He still paved the path for them.
But what does that mean? Like, the people, I could just say anything. Anthrax started metal, you know? That doesn't mean it's right just because I'm an Anthrax truther, you know?
Couldn't they say the same for that? Was it the original basis for Van Halen? That was with them for like, what, a year or so?
Yeah, well, yeah, he could all day. And that's funny.
Or Ron McGovney?
Yeah, Ron McGovney from Metallica. Well, it's funny you say that because so many people actually do that. Dave's the most famous for it. Oh, maybe Sammy Hagar too, probably, just complaining about everything. But there are so many bands where there's like some one-off musician that says, yeah, they actually stole this from me, you know, and it's usually just them trying to get attention because they're bitter about not being the biggest band.
That was probably a joke. Firing Metallica was a great move on Dave's part.
Well, you know, that's a better way to look at it than like, it's weird to sell Megadeth fans.
No, I think they promoted him to a customer. That's what they did. Not an essay, but a paragraph. It really doesn't matter who wrote what at the end of the day. We don't really know for sure because we weren't there. So how are we supposed to know? At the end of the day, both Metallica and Megadeth are 2 of the biggest heavy metal bands in the world. So who gives a fuck who wrote what song? And a lot of people comment this type of thing too, of like the weird cope of like, you weren't there, you know, and it's funny. I replied to all of them that said, were you even there? I said, of course I am. I'm James Hetfield. I would know, you know, but what a dumb, weird cope. Like, I could say that about literally anything. Like, we could argue about, what, history, politics, or something? Anything. Well, you weren't even there, dude. Like, you weren't even there when that movie came out. You know, like, what kind of dumb projecting cope is that? Like, that we have to have been in Metallica to know what actually happened and not that a majority of the members say the same thing against one guy? Like, what's a conspiracy against Dave? All right. I've been a fan of both bands for 20 years, and I always found Dave's comments strange, lol. He assumes that Metallica would have been just as big with him in the band, but his wild, erratic behavior in Megadeth calls that in question. He burned bridges and would be very violent sometimes. That limited his band's potential, in my opinion. Mustaine's immense talent for making amazing riffs is the only reason people accept his antics.
That's a pretty good point, though, because if you ever watch the Megadeth Behind the Music, all the band members almost on every album are like, we had this great opportunity and then we were getting a lot of momentum and then Dave had to go to rehab and we had to cancel the tour. Like, stuff like that would happen constantly. And Dave, he needs to be the alpha. I feel like he would have just destroyed Metallica from the inside, you know? So that's a good point from that guy.
I thought Christians were supposed to forgive and forget, Dave, not hold grudges for 4 decades.
Yeah, that's a good point. Not to mention, Dave is super successful. He's a millionaire. Why is he complaining? Who cares anymore? And to complain about they took a couple riffs from him that went to songs that weren't even that big. Like, if they stole Enter Sandman from him, maybe I'd understand. But even then, like, you know John Bush from Armored Saint and Anthrax? He was originally supposed to be Metallica's singer. People forget that. And yeah, he punches himself a little bit for it, but he's the happiest person on the planet. Like, move on. And Dave is way more successful and he's so bitter. It's like a narcissist thing. I can see you got a big one there. Is this crazy?
I don't know.
Okay.
Come on. It's common knowledge that Lars and Hetfield remained in close daily contact with Mustaine for every Metallica album, except for Saint Anger.
Yeah.
Well, wait, no,
he's being sarcastic. He's saying, he's making the point of, like, it's funny, Megadeth fans will sit there and say Dave wrote everything good of Metallica, and oddly enough, nothing bad. They will leave out, like, oh, everything up to the Black Album because it's Dave Mustaine, but not the Black Album or Saint Anger or anything else.
Should I read the rest of this?
No, we want to focus on the kooks, the cult members.
I haven't really seen that many.
Well, they're towards the bottom.
He wrote the majority of the main riffs on Kill 'Em All. I guess I'll just go all the way to the bottom.
Yeah, I guess go to the bottom and read up.
I don't know. It might take a while.
There's a lot of comments on this one.
It's down. The people talking bad about Dave Mustaine are the same idiots who claim they're Metallica Metallica fans and haven't heard a Metallica song until Load came out. I loved Metallica before they were cool, and Justice for All. I mean, I guess that makes sense. And Justice for All. For our last album for all of our last album to us real fans, your videos are trash, dude.
Hey, you got me, dude. You gave my brother a brain aneurysm. Real good job.
Metallica fans, a little delusional.
We're delusional. Is that all he has to say?
Yeah.
Wow.
The fact he contributed / wrote significant portions of the songs on their classic albums is huge. Phil contributed nothing to Megadeth. Enjoy your cope.
Yeah. Wow. I guess. Yeah, he's really successful for Metallica's rise in that because James Hetfield didn't write anything for Megadeth.
He never was a member of what?
And what's insane is I think some people will get to this. I think some people assert that Dave Mustaine was on Kill 'Em All. Like straight up think that he
wasn't.
Yeah, no, he's literally on none of the albums. Or no, they say something to the effect of Metallica's only good albums were when Dave was in the band. So I don't know if they're being sarcastic, saying that no Metallica albums are good, or they're like so stupid they thought he was in the band for like a long time.
All right, now we're getting to
the juicy stuff.
Were you there? No. Well, maybe STFU then.
Yeah, you're right. I'm James Hetfield, dude.
Hater. That's it.
Guilty as charged.
What a bunch of BS. Stop posting this crap. Bullshit. Oh, yeah, and Metallica is still a good band. What? Oh, yeah, and Metallica is still a good band. They suck. Master of Puppets, last real thrash, so zip it, bud.
What about Injustice for All? Most of that album was like heavier and darker than Master of Puppets. So what the hell is he talking about?
Quit simping for Metallica. They ain't even metal. Well, I mean, to be fair, they say that now.
No. They said that in the 90s.
Oh,
they were
okay.
like, yeah, we don't really know if we see ourselves as a metal band. Hey, that just reminded me, though. I think the one before that. If you want to get delusional and say stuff like, well, Dave is just responsible for this because his presence is on those first 3 albums in some way or another, then wouldn't we say actually Metallica is only successful because of getting rid of Dave? Because the first album that doesn't have any either credited or claimed Dave songwriting is Injustice for All, which had their first big hit, One. And then everything after that was a massive hit. So technically, couldn't you say that they're only successful because Dave left or was kicked out? You know what I mean? Like, that's so stupid.
Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, I got a lot. Yeah, sorry, I got a lot. Okay, no, it's not BS. You definitely don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, good point. Thanks for elaborating there.
Metallica is so bad.
That's fair, I guess.
Dave and Megadeth, he says in all caps, except and, even though and is capitalized, are 100 times better than Metallica. Megadeth sounds is better. Their drum, and there's a space between.
You don't have to read out every grammatical error.
Their drums don't sound like trash cans. Yes, Dave did write a lot of their music too. He says.
See, that's the perfect example. They'll say Dave did everything good, but everything bad Metallica did, they'll never.
And we've got another paragraph. This shit argument is so old. He just wasn't, no apostrophe, credited, but on 4 songs, 1 Kill 'Em All and 2 on Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
You're a guitar player, you're familiar with Dave's playing, or if you're a guitar player and you're familiar with Dave's playing, the vast majority of the first 2 albums sounds like at the very least, were written by Dave and James sitting down one-on-one. A lot of Master has Dave influence too.
What?
It's like T-O, not T-O-O. You're, no apostrophe, just going, and that's all one word. No,
just going.
Just going off the credits that Lars and James allowed him to have. That doesn't mean it's true. This post is shit.
Okay, why would they credit him at all? And just be like, actually, let's credit him for these ones and not these other ones on the same album. Like, how his writing's all over Master of Puppets? Where is his writing? Like, they'll say crazy stuff like this, and they'll never have the balls to say he wrote Master of Puppets, the song, or he wrote Battery. Like, you're so sure he wrote that album, but then they'll have the balls to say what riff where. You know, like, you're so certain of it.
Dave wrote the entirety of the Four Horsemen guy. He wrote that song back in high school and played it with his first band, Panic. He also wrote all the solos and contributed shitloads of riffs. No, he did not write everything, but it's safe to say he was a key contributing factor to Metallica's early success in the metal scene at the time. Although Dave can say some questionable and downright untrue things, he still is a musical genius.
Okay. First of all, you don't get credit for guitar solos. That's not songwriting. It's riffs, melodies, chords, stuff like that. That's why drummers typically don't get credited for songwriting, you know? But Dave writing the Four Horsemen. So here's what's interesting. Dave wrote most of the Four Horsemen as a song called Mechanics, which ended up in Megadeth, right? But they completely changed the lyrics and then added this slow breakdown in the middle of like this chuggy heavy riff that James claims to have wrote. And then they go into this like sequence that's basically a complete ripoff of Sweet Home Alabama. that was added after Dave was no longer in the band. Now, here's what's funny. They all admit they were ripping off Sweet Home Alabama with this riff. But then Dave takes credit for this riff and then says, of course I wrote it. I was ripping off Sweet Home Alabama and they stole my riff. And you were literally admitting to ripping off Sweet Home Alabama and then you're mad that they stole your riff? Like, that seems like Dave apparently is allowed to steal things, right?
Well, let's just skip the multiple ones that are saying "Were you there?" Because I think
they're just they're so stupid. Were you there?
Metallica fell off after Dave left. Megadeth seemed a better band, but that was years ago. But at the time, it was important. Now I couldn't care less.
Okay, that's
so then why even comment?
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I'm saying though. They fell off after Dave left. They only did No Life to Leather with Dave. Like, he does not play on any of the albums, and all those songs end up on Kill 'Em All. So you're telling me, right, that you liked No Life to Leather. Jesus, I can't even talk. No Life to Leather. And then you heard Kill 'Em All, which is the exact same songs. And you're like, nope, there's no Dave Mustaine playing sloppy, like, badly sounding tone guitar solos on it. Therefore, it's bad, you know?
Okay, I said we should skip the "Were you there?" But there's a guy that not only is asking you, "Were you there?" He's claiming that he was there.
Okay.
Yes, dispel this nonsense. Like, I guess I spoiled that. Like, you were there, right? I mean, you speak so confidently about it. Let's settle this once and for all. I was there, and I know exactly what he wrote and what he didn't. Give me a break. Seriously.
Okay, so you were there, and that I could just spell this. I could put this to bed.
Oh, he says, I am Dave Mustaine.
Okay. I bet he's just trolling, yeah. I'm like, okay, you were there, but you're not going to tell us what you wrote. Like, what?
I was their stalker.
I was Ron McGovney, asshole.
You are clueless. They have never said he was a liar. And if you go by his name on songs, that's laughable. Just ask Jakey Lee.
Okay, well, this is a completely different ballgame. Like, Jakey Lee was, by even multiple sources and multiple people there, they said, like, Sharon screwed him over and forced him to sign contracts so that he didn't get any credit for Bark at the Moon, songwriting-wise, right? And, hey, don't put your feet on that. But Dave Mustaine, here's the thing. He does this thing where he says, they stole my songs, and then he's vague about it. So then the fans think that they don't give him credit for songs, right? But the only song he claims, if you press him on it, that they didn't credit him for is one song. Like, one riff on one song, Leper Messiah. But then the fans run with this vagueness and think, my God, Dave wrote everything good of Metallica. Like, they just fill in the blanks in their crazy heads.
When they got rid of Mustaine, their music went soft. Bunch of sellouts.
Okay, so Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning are soft albums. It's not even metal anymore on Ride the Lightning, right? Like, For Whom the Bell Tolls is just a pop song.
When you are a band and you write a song as a band, you wrote all that song.
See, that's the thing, though, is that even then, like, there's tons of Metallica songs, even after Dave is gone, where it's, like, credited Ulrich, Hetfield, Hammett, Burton. And I want to actually take the moment to say it's funny. A lot of these people, they're trying to give credit to something Cliff Burton actually did. Like, Cliff Burton was the leader of Metallica through the 80s. Cliff Burton was like the secret sauce, big songwriter. But James was the main songwriter. But Cliff was the musical secret sauce. But they will never bring that up, all these Megadeth people. And yeah.
You know what kind of reminds me of is the whole, like, thing between Bob Kane and Bill Finger.
Yeah, but Batman.
Yeah, but the difference between that is, like, even Bob Kane admitted, like, oh yeah, Bill Finger basically came up with the entire mythology of Batman and pretty much everything we know of as Batman. And the only thing that he really came up with was just the name Batman, and I think he did some of the Gotham Cityscapes. But, like, it's just that he was smart enough to go to, like, the copyright office or whatever. And now even DC recognizes, like, oh yeah, this guy also created Batman. Like, there's no dispute. Here, there at least is dispute.
Well, and that brings up a great point. Okay, Dave has money. Dave has support. He's not a nobody. if you Megadeth fans are so convinced that he's not being credited for songs, if you're Dave Mustaine, what would you do?
Bitch and moan like him?
No.
Oh.
Think, you have money.
Sue him.
Yeah. Why has he never sued them?
Because he'd lose.
Exactly. And, you know, he has proof that they stole his stuff. He's credited. He's making millions off of Metallica.
He doesn't want to lose his little Danish friend.
Yeah. Well, and you know what's funny is, if you think about it, he's probably making more off those Metallica songs through the royalties than he would make if they were Megadeth songs. And he's still complaining. Like, I don't feel bad for him at all. He's making more money off of them.
And also, Bill Finger died in poverty, so like he's in a much better position.
Wow, I feel so bad for millionaire Dave.
Dude, you're. Oh wait,
how do you
say
even
that?
read this with the brightness so low?
Wait, dude, you're only giving him credit for the stuff that Lars wanted to give him credit for. Okay, so we're getting a little conspiratorial.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that Megadeth was as popular or successful as Metallica. According to him, he hasn't received anywhere near the credit was actually due.
See, but that's the thing, is Dave is trying to take all the credit. He's saying, I am responsible for their success. Like, we're just going to remove Cliff Burton, we're going to remove Bob Rock, like, we're going to remove everything. James especially. And they're saints for not ever responding to his ridiculousness. They just put up with it.
Well, haven't they kind of responded? Because they said, like, yeah, we had to kick him out. Isn't that kind of responding?
No, I mean, like, they're on documentaries and they have to, like, talk about getting rid of Dave. But, I mean, like, just responding to the crazy stuff he says, like, I am responsible for their success. Like, I think the closest they ever got to, like, responding to Dave's, like, manic insanity is... James was in an interview talking about, remember that therapy session with Lars and Dave in the Some Kind of Monster documentary?
Yeah, my little Danish friend.
Yeah, that whole, like, I fucked up, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, you guys should have sent me to AA. James said something about the fact of, like, watching that was, like, it was pathetic or something like that, the way Dave was acting. And he's like, I felt, like, uncomfortable seeing him act like that. I think it's the closest they ever got to something, like, actually talking about Dave's craziness.
This was all decades ago. They are all cool and respect one another like grown men. They're not crazy kids anymore. So stop the bullshit.
Well, someone's not been paying attention. It's funny, this video that this guy comments on the video, doesn't watch it because this is using clips of a recent interview of Dave where he looks like an old man. He's like, they're friends and this is all settled. Like, what are you talking about? Are you blind?
SYFM, I don't know what that stands for.
By the way, you could probably skip the ones I left, like, heart reacts on, because that's usually, like, people that are making sense.
Yeah, tell me one album that was good after he was no longer in the band. I'll wait.
That's why I think that must be a troll, because he's not on any of them. No Life to Leather. All right, that's the one good Metallica album. It's a demo.
Another Were You There?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more than what you're saying. Metallica was definitely Dave and Cliff for the most part. The great music that made them anyway.
Well, okay, is he saying that Dave and Cliff wrote songs together, or is he saying that Dave and Cliff were responsible?
I guess the latter.
That's at least more coherent, except Dave really didn't write that much. And if we're going to give credit to anyone for Metallica's success, it's mostly James Hetfield. He writes almost everything. Like 90% of the music. Even in the good old days.
This video goes under the assumption that Dave only contributed to the songs he was credited on. Dave's claim is that he wrote a bunch of other riffs that they used but wasn't given writing credits for. I don't know what the truth actually is, but this is not addressed here.
So you want me to address just nonsense that you made up? Like, so, no, that's the thing, and I said this earlier. Dave says they didn't give me the credit I'm deserved. And then there'll be a follow-up question always in these interviews. What songs did they use that were yours?
Yeah, okay.
And then he cites songs that he's credited for.
Oh.
Except Leper Messiah is the only one he claims, and I've already told you guys, like, I think it's a pile of bull.
Do they, like, when they do concerts, do they all have to wear, like, a sign around their neck that says, Dave used to be in this band?
Yeah.
No? Is that?
Yeah, they have to. By the way, speak up a little bit with the
Okay.
read these.
I believe, Dave, the proof is the history of Megadeth legacy. Metallica went down fast.
Okay,
All
but
went down
by that
fast.
logic, are we going to ignore Risk? Are we going to ignore The World Needs a Hero? Are we going to ignore Super Collider? See, they will take credit for all of Metallica's success and none of Metallica's failures or Megadeth's failures. They act like Megadeth never sold out or never went bad, ever. I actually like Risk, by the way, but I knew it's neither here nor there.
Let's not forget he also wrote every one of those guitar solos that was on the first album. Kirk then played them all note for note, basically inventing that style of metal, frantic guitar solos. Since Dave considers himself primarily a guitar player, that probably goes up his ass more than anything else.
Okay, a couple things. It's like what I said earlier. We're like, guitar solos aren't writing credits. And then I will give Dave this. I'd be pissed if they aped every single guitar solo I wrote too. That's annoying. But at the same time, okay, Dave did not invent frantic metal guitar solos. Like, this is 83, 82 or something like that, right? Are we going to ignore the fact that there's multiple heavy metal bands at this point? Like, Judas Priest doesn't exist? Metallica's the first metal band ever?
Okay, losing Dave was the worst move ever. He's so much better of a musician, and the ones he contributed to were my favorite. Whoever is narrating here sounds like he's an NSYNC fan.
Yeah, I mean, they're better than Megadeth. They should be in the big four, NSYNC. This is going to be a good one.
I don't get the purpose of this video because it doesn't matter. Kill 'Em All was my favorite Metallica album. Plus, I think Dave had some stuff rip off from him on other songs and later albums. He definitely had an influence on the guitar playing and songwriting in Metallica. I can't blame him for not being happy they used his stuff. Because he would have had a head start with songs in Metallica, but it worked out in the end, and he gets royalties from the songs he contributed to.
Exactly.
So at this point, it is what it is, old news.
Well, actually, he makes a somewhat okay point at the end there about like he would have had a head start, but he did have a head start. They advertised Megadeth early on in the early days as Combat's own Metallica, right? The guy that was too aggressive for Metallica, and that helped him amazingly well. And not to mention, he was already getting royalties from Kill 'Em All, so that gave him a lot of money to help kickstart. And he would have been flat broke if they didn't use any of his songs. People forget that, if Kill 'Em All had been out for a couple of years before Killing Is My Business, right? He's already making money off the royalties. So what, you wanted Dave to be flat broke, but as long as he had fucking Phantom Lord on his own and make it a Megadeth song? That seems dumb.
I mean, he's probably done a lot, like he says. Thing is, he's been saying this for years. Most people that lie normally forget what they made up, but his story doesn't seem to change. Makes me think he did do what he says. And it's kind of odd how James and Lars never really say anything back. And the way they treated Jason doesn't make them look so innocent in my eyes, we'll never actually know. They definitely don't want to pay Dave more, so I'm sure the truth will come out later when he dies.
So he dies, and they're like, he wrote Enter Sandman, guys, sorry.
And they don't have to pay him anything, but you can definitely tell he did. Wait, wouldn't he have an estate?
Yeah, exactly. They have to pay his kids. That's so stupid.
And they don't have to pay him anything, but you can definitely tell he did something for them because they suck so bad. And now, years without a good album, at least Dave can still write a good one. Well, didn't people like Lux Eterna or whatever it
Yeah,
was?
well, the last Megadeth album is probably about as liked as the last Metallica album. And what was the thing said at the beginning there? He said something really stupid.
I mean, he's probably done a lot like he says.
No, something else.
Oh, no, it's his story's pretty consistent.
Oh yeah, no. Okay, that's stupid. Dave changes his story all the time. He adds more to it, which is a thing a liar does. They make their story bigger and crazier. You know, he said recently, the first song they had, "Hit the Lights," that wasn't even written by them. That was written by their black guitar player that played a guitar solo on it for a demo. He's like, yeah, this guy that's like a funk guitar player, this black guy, Lloyd Grant, came in, or is it Floyd Grant? I think it's Lloyd Grant, came in and wrote it for them. Why has Lloyd Grant never said this? Why has he never tried to get credit? Why is he not sued? You know, it sounds ridiculous. And then Dave also makes the lie bigger. He'll say stuff like, you know, Enter Sandman, you saw this recently, right? Enter Sandman, they stole it from this other band, whatever the hell the song's called, Waking the Something, I think. He stole that song. So Dave just keeps making his lies bigger and bigger. And, you know, you want to talk about, well, you know, they treated Jason badly. That was mostly James. And even then, Cliff was the main guy that, and no one talks about this, but according to James and Lars and everyone else, Cliff was the final straw that said, like, we can't work with this Dave guy. He's out of his mind. And they'll never bring that up because Cliff was dead. So
I always thought the guys from Metallica lied about how much he wrote.
I mean, that's just, are you going off of your feelings instead of facts? Like,
do you want me to go into like responses?
No, you don't have to.
Wait,
we're giving you the response.
Dave? Well, no, but like, I mean, responses.
I mean, maybe if there's a good one.
I get it's the comment where the guy ends it with old news. He says, like, I'm saying he likely contributed a little on some other stuff without getting credit.
Yeah, but
that's not unusual in these situations.
But we went over that. Why would they credit him at all? I mean, they even credit him on the second album.
There's a little deniability.
But they credit him for a chord progression in Call of Cthulhu on the second album. Like, they're pretty thorough about it. You know.
Dave was correct. Metallica 2 are playing these albums today still.
Okay.
Without Dave, there would be no Metallica.
Setting the world on fire with that one.
Oh.
Well, it's like I said, though, actually, Metallica, there would be no Metallica if they had Dave, because Injustice for All was when they got super big, and that he had no writing credits at all on it, right?
This one's really spicy.
Okay.
Dave is a much better singer. Much, with 2 H's, better guitar player than James. Too bad he assaulted James and got kicked out. Megadeth songs got better. Metallica songs got worse.
Okay, let me ask you something, Jake. I'm not even just asking your opinion. I'm going to ask what probably the majority of people that like both bands, who's the better singer, Dave Mustaine or James Hetfield?
James Hetfield?
And it's not even close. Actually, I will say Dave does sing pretty good sometimes, and I'm tired of people acting like he's abysmal or that he's clearly sings on key. He's a little nasally, you know, but he actually tries even more than I'd say, like maybe even David Lee Roth. He talks through a lot of stuff, and I love David Lee Roth, but
I'm waiting for people to say like, oh yeah, well Dave was in Duck Dodgers. Was James ever in Duck Dodgers?
That's a good point. You got me there.
Well, no, I think James and Kirk, no, they were in Metalocalypse.
Were they really?
Yeah, that episode where they fight that big monster. The big monster, that's James that they fight. And then like the guy that they meet at the pub, that's like, you gotta go meet this guy. He's like the blues guy. That's Kirk.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Kirk, he's got a funny voice. You know, actually, speaking of that, if you want to go on who's in more stuff, I mean, James was the scene in the South Park movie where Kenny goes to hell. That's him singing the "Little boy, you're going to hell, yeah."
Oh yeah, and then he also had a cameo in that Ted Bundy movie. He's the cop that arrests him.
I watched that scene. He actually does a pretty good job in that movie. I can't deny it.
Anyway, he did perform on all the solos.
That's not writing credits.
Okay. Ooh, another paragraph. I know y'all don't, I'm sorry, I'm getting sick of people say y'all and they're like either not black or from the South. It's like I don't want to say cultural appropriation, but it's like they're trying, I don't know, it's just great. So
maybe he's from the South, you know? You're saying
Maybe.
a lot. Maybe we're going to find that, listen to the rest of this, it's going to be the worst grammar ever. Like, all right, he's from the South.
I know y'all don't like the fact that he did influence a lot of their early music, but it's a fact y'all fanboys, he says it twice, don't want to accept it and badmouth him for being arrogant. Bet you would be bitter too if he had music you didn't want nobody to use, especially if they ditched you out of the band. Most would be discouraged and depressed. He definitely made his own way by any means necessary.
So, made his own way by crying about it all fucking day.
Let's see. I am unsure of what you Mustaine haters don't get. He, in fact, helped forge that early sound and image. A lot of people came to the early shows to see Mustaine and what he might say or do. I know, I was one of them. If I had a hand in 2 of the big 4 bands, I would also brag about it. And then to be kicked out and forge forward with a better band than what he was kicked out of, not many people can do that. From a songwriting standpoint, Mustaine kicks Metallica's ass, but better songs doesn't always turn into more album sales.
So that's a fair point at the end there, and I've never knocked Dave as a songwriter. He's a great songwriter. But what was it, the middle part there? Something was really stupid he said. It's like something.
I was in a... If I had
a hand in 2 of the bands. Okay, the problem is not Dave saying he had a hand in Metallica. Obviously, he had a hand in Metallica, you know? He wrote some of the like riffs and songs. But that's not what the problem is. Dave is not just saying he had a hand in Metallica. Like, no one has a problem with him saying that. The problem is he says that I am responsible for Metallica's success. Which is like it's like giving him an inch and he takes an entire mile with it. You know what I mean?
To put in context, let's compare Dave's songs, riffs, to the low quality they have put out since a load.
Okay, then you're gonna ignore once again Metallica or Megadeth's spotty history, or just I could say Super Collider all day to any people that say Megadeth. Oh, Megadeth's so great nowadays, and they never sold out. Super Collider, Risk, Super Collider. World needs a hero.
I don't know. Maybe Dave means like I'm responsible for their success because I got the ball rolling.
I don't even know, because he makes it sound super self-aggrandizing, self-important though, or he doesn't just say like, yeah, I had a hand in the early days, but then if you're gonna say I'm responsible for this success, you better have something to back that up. Like, I helped in the tape trading, I really promoted them, and like, you know, something tangible. Him saying I wrote some of the riffs on the songs that weren't that big in the grand scheme is not you made the band, you know? That's what I have to say to that.
Wait, did I say this already? He basically wrote the good riffs you remember.
Okay, the good riffs you remember. Like, which song? So, okay, you're a more casual Metallica fan, right? I want you to hum me any of these riffs, okay? 4 Horsemen.
I don't remember.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Okay, Jump in the Fire. I'm proving a point. Jump in the Fire. Hum Jump in the Fire. Okay, Metal Militia.
No.
Phantom Lord.
No.
Ride the Lightning. Okay, at least he knows that. And you know who wrote that riff?
Not Dave?
That was actually Lars Ulrich.
Oh.
Lars wrote the intro riff of that iconic, the most, okay, Dave has a great riff in that song, that dan, you know, but the most iconic riff in that song, that lightning bolt intro, was written by Lars Ulrich. That's his biggest writing credit in Metallica. So my point is, okay, and then yeah, he can hum that, and the part he hums is the part that Dave didn't even write.
Look at the way we've kind of heard this before a little bit. Look at the way Newstead was treated. There's certainly a precedent. I think Dave had a lot more to do with than just 6 songs.
Okay, once again, this is all like intuition. Like, I just feel like, that means nothing. Like, we're laying out hard facts and you're just saying, well, I feel like you're wrong. Well, great job, you know?
Oh, another one. I don't think Dave wrote everything on those first 3 albums. I do think he wrote a little more than they credited him for.
There's a lot of...
But has he ever said that? Like, oh, I wrote seek and destroy or whatever. But
Well, okay, that's the funny thing, Jake. Because he is not. When interviewers press him on it, he does not say, "I wrote Seek and Destroy" or "I wrote For Whom the Bell Tolls." He says, "They didn't give me the credit I was deserved." Okay. Next question: What songs were you not credited for? Leper Messiah, and that's it.
They need to give me a tribute in all their concerts like they do with Cliff. I guess maybe that's what he means.
I don't know what the hell he expects.
Well, you didn't die in a tragic bus accident.
You didn't die of cancer yet, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's actually, I forgot how many normal people actually commented on this, or made at least like valid points. Like, I just prefer Megadeth's music. Like, that's not what we're talking about. But I kind of do sometimes too.
I don't think you understand Dave's anger. They got off 4 songs off Dave. He was the lead guitarist and James was starting at the guitar. He put in a lot of work just to get kicked, and the band that kicked him became rich. Y'all never been in a struggle to understand how heartbreaking it is knowing you would be not erased, from history you contributed to. We are lucky Dave made it, or we would never know about him. And he would become underground and people would hard glaze him. But since he became famous, people just like to talk smack. Dave did a lot for Metallica early on, point and simple.
But they've never tried to erase him. Like, they always, whenever they do a documentary, they actually always devote a good amount to him, considering he doesn't play on any of the albums. You know what I mean? They always like, yeah, he then did No Life to Leather with us, and there was this crazy lead guitar player we had that would love to party, and he had great sound. Like, every documentary talks about him. They've never tried to erase him. Even the old documentaries that they did in the 90s and 80s or whatever, I think it was the 90s around Black Album, the little mini docs, they'd still talk about him, you know? So this whole erase him from history is ridiculous.
Maybe they can fix everything by just every time they, during their concerts, they just all wear like shirts with like Dave's face on it. Have like a big statue on the stage of Dave. Real muscular and buff.
I'm stealing credit in this video from you right now. If you see the way that we're sitting, I'm actually in more of this video right now, slouching, and I'm stealing your songwriting credits here in the couch.
Okay, wait. Oh, that's funny. That was back in the day. Even if you weren't there, it doesn't matter anyway. Dave wrote them all.
He's quoting a Megadeth song.
Oh yeah, that's the one that was in the Duck Dodgers episode.
I thought it was Mighty Ducks he was in.
No, it was Duck Dodgers.
What the hell is Mighty Ducks then?
That was.
Let's not.
Okay, yeah, no.
That's a different video. Oh shit! What did you just do?
That took me
just
out of it.
Go to YouTube, I think. Just go to YouTube and. Oh brother.
Oh.
What the hell happened? It's updating. Oh shit! We've lost our crazy people.
Oh, there's like a glitch. It's not coming back.
Well, how long is this video? 53 minutes. I think we've made our point. Okay. Now, let me ask you, now that we're at the end of this, right? And there's plenty of these to go through, and you realize a lot of them, I think we've covered all the points they try to make, but a lot of them are just the same insane point. You can stop trying. It's a lot of the same insane points over and over and over and over and over again, verbatim. It's just complete lunacy at this point, because none of it's based in any like critical thinking. You could easily look up what the songwriting credits are. You can easily be like, okay, we've discussed all of this. Like, any little point, you could just ask a question, you had a follow-up question, oh, this, and then it answers the ridiculous claim Dave makes. And even then, the fans seem crazier than Dave. You know what I mean? Like the Megadeth, like the shills, they seem like they're in a cult, because they're like, okay, I hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil in regards to Dave and every single aspect of this. Because Dave will, when pressed on it, he will say, no, I wrote these songs and they used my songs and I didn't want them to, right? Which is fair. And he will push the truth a little bit to seem more important. But these Megadeth fans literally say that Dave wrote everything of the Metallica or wrote all of their good music, or in some of those cases, I think imply that Dave is on the albums. Like, have they not listened to Metallica ever? It's just ridiculous, you know? Was there any points that you felt like they made that were pretty valid at all? I mean, other than just like their opinion, like I prefer Megadeth or I prefer Dave, which is fine. I mean, do you prefer? Do you prefer Megadeth? Or
I guess it depends on the era, but like, I mean, I guess it's possible that like maybe they're screwing him over in some way, but there's like no proof. It's all conjecture.
Well, and even then, like Dave is so certain that they stole that Leper Messiah riff, right? Of that song, which of all songs that waste your time trying to get credit over, Leper Messiah, like the least talked about song of the 80s for Metallica, right? He is so certain that they stole that song, which is the only one he like very clearly says they stole that song. Why can't he name other songs? He's clearly listened to the albums if he's heard this deep cut Leper Messiah, right? And he said, that's my song. If it's possible that they stole other songs from him, why can't he name them? He said it, he talked about it for years. Why can't he name those other songs? You know, and a lot of them are big songs too. Like he can't say that riff in Master of Puppets, the middle section, it's melodic. He can't name anything. And that sounds like
It's probably the same reason why he hasn't sued them, because if he did make specific allegations of like, oh, I wrote Seek and Destroy, I wrote Ride the Lightning, then they'd sue him.
No, but okay, my point is though, is he said this already about Leper Messiah. He has made that step already to say, they stole that from me and I'm not credited. Now, he didn't sue them, but he is saying that. So why doesn't he just say more? And he's very defiant about it. He's very...
Maybe he's like, he really just has a bug up his ass about that one specific
that
song.
one song that's like the least talked about, least liked song of the 80s by Metallica, probably. I mean, I like Leper Messiah, but like, you're a casual fan. Do you even know what that song is?
No.
Now, do you know Battery?
Yeah.
Do you know Sanitarium?
Yeah.
Do you know Master of Puppets?
Of course.
Hell, do you even know Disposable Heroes? Back to the Front? All right, maybe not that one. Maybe Damage Incorporated or Orion or something. But my point is, like, on Master of Puppets, it's like the least important song. So, I don't know. I think he's got no room to stand on. Like, let's say you're a judge. Does Dave have anything at this point that he can even stand on?
No, but I mean, I'm sure if he wanted to claim that he's like, oh, I contributed to all the songs on Saint Anger, at this point they probably would be okay with him saying that.
Yeah, you know what? They should trick him. Just be like, yeah, Dave did write Saint Anger, and then
he wrote all of it.
Put his name on all over the CD so he can take exclusive blame for it. That'd be pretty funny.
So. Like, yeah, Ain't My Bitch, he wrote that.
Yeah, Ain't My Bitch. He wrote the country song Mama Said. Let's just get into it. Dave is the real guy that made Batman. Fuck Bill Finger.
He has a time machine.
Yeah, he's got a time machine too. Dave invented metal even. He wrote Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. It was actually Dave. People have been talking about for years that Shakespeare isn't real.
Well, you know why he's such a Christian? Because he Bible, that was him. He wrote it.
Dave Mustaine is Jesus. That's why he's a Christian. Yeah, he realized
and
it.
the Quran.
Yeah.
Quran, right. And the Book of Mormon.
No, hold on.
And
Dave is definitely not a Muslim with the song America Stan. New York guitar to Caliph Arabia.
He was just trolling that day.
Hey, Jihad Joe, we're coming to get you.
He went on his time machine and then spoke to Muhammad, and that he was just trolling him.
He's too big of an Alex Jones fan to be a Muslim, that's for sure. What else did Dave write?
Oh, he wrote Dianetics.
Yeah, obviously. He wrote the Magna Carta. We need to exclusively give Dave credit for democracy as a whole.
The Law of Hammurabi, Code of Hammurabi, he wrote that.
The laws of physics, I mean, all of them. Gravity. You know, that he was the reason Cliff died because the bus crushed him.
He was the bus driver.
He was the bus driver. Yeah,
that's horrible.
Where's the black ice? You know, Dave does. There's a Megadeth song called "Burnt Ice."
Oh no!
So maybe he's hitting that black ice there and
no.
drove it off the ledge there and crushed Cliff. He's the reason they fired Jason Newsted too, and he's the reason Jason got bullied. What else? What else did Dave write? He definitely wrote Black Sabbath. I mean, that doesn't even need to be put into question. Because I'm a big fan of Megadeth, and I hear Megadeth all over the song Black Sabbath. That slow riff, I hear Megadeth when I hear that song.
I think he wrote all of like the really classic Broadway musicals, like not even like the more recent ones, like Spring Awakening. No, like he wrote like Hello Dolly and like a chorus line. Like that's what a total versatile musical
Dave
genius.
wrote Showgirls and Cats too while he's at it. Oh God, what else did Dave write, man? I think we're running out of things. I mean, at this point,
he wrote that Victor Hugo guy. No, that was just another pseudonym Dave had because he's got that time machine in his basement. Yeah, he wrote Hunchback of Notre Dame and Les Miserables.
Well, who's the person that some people say is the real Shakespeare? Some black woman?
Dave Mustaine.
Well, obviously, yeah, Dave Mustaine.
No, it's like it's some like lord or something. What? It's dumb. Yeah, but but it was really Dave.
Yeah, no, because there's Shakespearean lyrics all over America Stan, like New York Qatar to Calith Arabia. Hey, Jihad Joe, we're coming to get you. Or the song Endgame.
Oh, that's so Shakespearean. I don't know what any of that means.
Yeah, or in the song Endgame, it literally starts with him saying, "I woke up in a black FEMA box."
Oh, he wrote all of Tool's songs, definitely.
Oh, okay. Well, no wonder it took so long. He had to take a break. I mean, Jesus. I mean, he's too busy writing Metallica albums and Megadeth albums. Of course, Tool took forever. I think you guys get our point. I'm running out of ideas. Unless you got any. Is there anything else you want to say?
No. I think that's it.
So definitely check out his band, Megadeth. Follow them on Instagram and TikTok, Megadeth's TikTok. Anyways, have a good one, guys. And remember, Dave Mustaine wrote everything, even made this video. And the reason there's no editing.
He's behind the camera. Hi, Dave.
Yeah, no, the reason there's no editing on this is because Dave Mustaine decided that it didn't need it. So.